Good afternoon, Blues. Thanks for joining me. It's another deflating defeat from Everton. This is the first defeat at home under Sean Dyche. We want your reaction to the match. If you're feeling as flat as me, please put a comment in and we'll bring you in during the course of the next reaction. I'm pleased to be saying that we're going to be joined by a whole host of members of the Everton, fellow Everton side here, and we're going to be picking through that performance, which wasn't the worst that I've ever seen Everton play in, to be quite honest, especially this season. But we've gone down yet again, 2-0. And how much do we need a player like Ollie Watkins up front, a guy who scored 5 goals in a row? Results haven't gone that well for Everton as well today, so it's all happening, and it feels very deflating right now. It's very raw. I'm going to bring in Geoff in just a moment, but we want your comments. Please like, please like and share what you can do and have a moan, because that's what we're here for. If you just joined us, Everton going down 2-0 at Goodison Park today. Despite Jordan Pickford's heroics, Everton stayed in the game for long periods. And it was really the penalty on 61 minutes after Drissa Gay made a clumsy tackle in the box, was well dispatched, and then Everton went searching for what proved to be an in vain equaliser. The Blues did put up a good fight today, and that's what's disappointing, is attacking-wise, we were definitely improved. I'm going to cross over and bring in Geoff. Geoff, obviously very disappointing yet again.
Hello, mate.
You know, so little, so well. What can we say? I mean, they were better at times today in the final third, I thought, Geoff. But yet again, we've been picked off by a Villa side that weren't world class, but just did enough.
Yeah. What you can see is that Everton are a team that just don't score enough goals. It's just as simple as that. You know, you can play well, but if you haven't got finishers, you know, one goal has to win the game. Otherwise, you know, other teams, you know, they've got more goal scorers than us. It's as simple as that. Mopey tries hard. McNeil puts in the ball, but if there's no one there to finish it off, no one's making the run, no one's making the move, what can you do? You know, it's just, we are what we are because we don't score goals. It's as simple as that, and it's
the same
it's sad and it's scary, but yeah,
we have the same chats every week.
yeah,
I don't think we should dwell on the striker thing, because we know we've not got a striker, and that's the problem. But how much would we love a striker like Ollie Watkins, who scored 5 goals and now in as many games? And I want to go through the game, Geoff, because, you know, it's first of all, it's quite hard to understand how we've ended up losing this 2-0. We had good chances. Let's start in the first half. It was quite an open game, wasn't it? We had the cross from McNeil, and Onana could have easily put Everton 1 up.
yeah.
Did you get to see that?
No, I was listening to it.
Yeah, it was a quality ball in from McNeil. He gets to the byline, cuts it back, and it's a point-blank save. I mean, Onana could have put it in, but it just showed you that if we get good quality into the box, you know, with the likes of Onana, then we've got a good chance. And I think the game was quite open, surprisingly. And then what happened was that Villa had a free kick. Luka Dean is almost like the pantomime villain, has a free kick, and you just sort of, in front of Gladys Street, you're thinking, oh, God, what's going to happen here? But it did sail over the bar. There was 1 or 2 chances for Everton in the first half, but overall, I think that we went in 0-0, and I think it was all to play for. The second half is when it all sort of came to life, Geoff. I mean, the first thing that stands out was that Everton had The ball was cleared basically off the line. It definitely wasn't anywhere near on the line or in over the line, of course. Iwobi has a shot, and it basically deflects off the defender, and it's a mad scramble. The ball should have been in the net, but they basically clear off the line. And at that point, you think it's going to be our day. You know, that was a great chance, and Everton were really in the game at that point. Then it was pretty extraordinary from Pickford. He makes an incredible save. It's absolutely point blank. And then Tarkowski managed to clear it at the park end. And then that was really it as far as the turning point went. Gay goes in for the tackle, brings down McGill. It's a definite penalty. Watkins slots in the roof of the net. It's against the run of the play, Geoff, at that point. I mean, we've gone in 1-0, but the way they came out second half, Everton were really up for it. And they were much more fluid in passing than in previous matches.
Yeah, and like I say, it's hard to be critical. The manager's doing a good job. He's setting us up correctly. Tactically, we look better. We're making smarter decisions. But you can't escape. I mean, I know you say you don't want to talk about the goal scorers, but it's a simple game for you. Put the ball in the net, you win games. It's simple as that. And we can't be relying on a set piece or a freak worldie from a right back to win games. It's gonna find you out over the course of a season. You're only gonna get so many results where you put the effort in and you get the reward based on like a freak goal or a set piece or something like that. Over the course of a season, teams who score goals win games. Teams who don't score goals don't win games, and it's that simple. And I think Dyche is doing a good job. I think you can see improvement. McNeil looks a different player.
As we're improving, you could see that was more confidence today. The danger is that then comes with more expansive play, which, you know, it can catch us out. What Gay did was, you know, he just couldn't resist temptation and putting his foot in, and that's it really. At that point, I feel it was just game over. Once they got a penalty, I just felt like Villa were good. Just, you know, they're experienced enough to shut up shop. And they actually went on to get a second goal. It was on 81 minutes. Buendía, Statis basically scores. He takes it past the Cody, I think it was, and slots it past Pickford. I mean, it separates the men from the boys when you see like that good quality play. I mean, you see it play five-a-side, and kids in the playground play better up front than we have. TJ Mid says the officiating was poor, but in the end, the lack of quality really was what's cost us. But this is just a recurring theme. If we do go down this season, it's all going to be to blame for the fact that we didn't bring in a striker. We let the likes of Nias go if we didn't have, and Rondon. Why did we let them go if we didn't have an option? Mupay was actually slightly better today.
I mean, you look at someone like Cheng Tosin. He's got like 12 goals this season, and you just think how much he would improve this side. And what the hell is DCL's problem? Like, I don't want to go too far down the road of but you know, that's a problem. Like, and it's a problem that is costing us games, that he can't manage to get himself fit for whatever reason. You know, we brought in
Mopay. What the latest is with him, Geoff? Do you know whether he's going to be back?
No, whatever is. I don't want to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, because it's one of those where, you know.
Well, there's pictures that float around of him in fashion magazines and holidays and stuff, but let's not go there. Enough is already said on that. There's a lot of commenting coming from Blues that we really appreciate. Of course, it takes a lot to come on. I mean, we're feeling as flat as you can imagine. there's a lot of comments coming in, and the general consensus of the comments is that we've been a little bit hard done by today. Like on another day, it could have been our day, or it might have been goalless or a draw. And I think the performance, I was lucky enough to see it, Geoff, and I think the performance was actually one of the better performances. And they were much better in the final third. I'm going to get the stats up in a minute. But generally, Everton's overall play was better. They had 46% of the ball, which we know is not a huge amount, but that's okay at home.
Yeah.
So we had 13 shots to Villa's 8, 4 of which were on target. We just had 3 corners, but they only had 1. So, we limited their chances from set pieces and 10 fouls apiece. So, those sorts of stats indicate it was a fairly neutral game. It was
a game we did. I don't think we deserved to lose it.
No.
However, you could also say we didn't deserve to win it either, because, like I said, it's one of those where someone's got to take chances, and too often, Iwobi, we nearly luckily got a goal, but what he actually did was scuffed his shot massively wide, and it nearly led to something. But that's not creating solid chances and burying them. We nearly scuffed a lucky goal. Onana hit one at the keeper. But realistically, at home, against a not great side that weren't in great form, we huffed and puffed, and we played quite well, and we passed the ball quite well, but we just do not have the threat, and it's hard to get past that. I can try and spin it any way you want, but the fact is that, like, this is on the board again. Like, they failed to do the job in the summer, and they failed to do it in January, and Dyche is doing the best he can, and maybe we can scrape by, but it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough.
I agree, Geoff. I think this is going to be even tougher than last year, because we had a little bit of firepower up front. We had Richarlison, and he kind of single-handedly rescued us at the end. And we haven't got anyone like that.
Yeah.
We haven't got anyone with any magic. So
no.
This is the problem. So this is where we are. It's another reality check, and it's another uneasy Saturday night sleep for Toffees. Everton there, 21 points. We've only scored 16 goals. We didn't score again today at home. Embarrassing. I know
16
Ryan
goals all season in 23 games?
Well, Haaland had scored 16 goals after about 5 games. So it's
16 goals in 24 games. So that's like...
It's relegation form, Geoff. You and I have always been on the same. Goal. We've always been on the same page as far as it's not good enough, and it's not likely to be good enough. And if we do escape, it will be by the skin of our teeth. But look at this. It felt a little bit better this morning, but results haven't gone our way. And although we're not in the wire, this is, and the play looks more confident. I'm worried. I'm really worried on the evidence of what I saw today. It's Villa at home. We've got to go to Arsenal next game. Hopefully I'll get a stream out from outside the ground, but I don't see anything coming from that, to be honest. Let's be realistic. I know we beat them at home, but they're a different kettle of fish at the Emirates.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch the results, and thanks for joining us. If you just have, maybe just come out of Goodison or you've got in your car. Leeds beat Southampton 1-0, which was not good news at all from Everton's point of view. Leeds probably are the biggest rivals down there. If you look at the table, you see they're just a point above Everton. That's why we've been knocked into the relegation zone. West Ham and Forest were playing in a 6-pointer, but West Ham came out 4-0. Sensational win for them. Arsenal beat Leicester away, which was to be expected, but didn't put any dent in the Foxes' goal difference. Obviously, Everton going down 2-0. And then Fulham 1-1 against Wolves last night wasn't fabulous. So all in all, it's not been the most enjoyable weekend. And now we're looking at Palace, and they're at the top of that graphic. Really, I've cut out Aston Villa because I don't feel that on the back of today's win and the fact that they're, I think, a good few points ahead now, that anything from 12 and upwards really needs to be overly concerned. There are far worse sides than those. There's still the Palace Liverpool today at 7:45, a match on Sky TV, and then there's a Spurs Chelsea game tomorrow. That doesn't have a lot to do with the relegation battle, but still interesting nonetheless. So the Palace game takes on a bit more importance, and it puts Everton in an awkward position. But let's not talk about that. Let's go back to the game today. So many comments. We always get 1,000 watches or more when we lose. Well, we lose so often that most of the time. But it's really, really tough to watch again today, especially the last 20, 30 minutes. If you're at Goodison, we don't want to know what the atmosphere was like. Did it get worse? Was it flat towards the end? What can we do about it? Carter says Godfrey needs to come into the team as well. Cody's been way off it lately. Cody's not been at the same standards, but neither have the whole side. So, it's not a
difficult. Cody's not going to make a difference to this side. That's just a fact of it. Looking at this realistically, Dice walked into a really difficult job, and I think he's done really well. 2 wins out of 4 games, even after today, that's still way better on average than we've done all season. But the problem remains, and it will always remain, that if you don't have goal scorers, you're going to struggle to win games because it's either a set piece or a freak goal or something that, that's your only real chance, because
it's the same old Geoff.
We just don't finish. But so, the problem is as well, and this is something that, like, you have to consider it, is that the teams around us, they score goals. They don't score them regularly enough to be, like, safe and whatever. But you look at teams like Bournemouth, Wolverhampton, Palace, West Ham. They've all got goal scorers in the side, and what they tend to do is they'll tend to have a really bad performance and then a really good performance. But the good performance is 3 points. The bad performance is no points. But, they're picking up wins, they're picking up draws, they're picking up results here and there. And so we're not able to get clear of, we won a couple of games, and it made no difference to us really, because here we are back in the bottom 3 again. Like, we need to actually have a run of games where we will win like 3 or 4 games on the run to get ourselves clear, and I can't see that happening. And
no, that was almost.
I'd like to be positive. Yeah, I'd love to be positive. I'd love to hopeful and optimistic, but like I don't do the tub thumping and the we'll be fine and all that stuff. I just comment on what I see. Reality is what reality is. I've been watching Everton a long time, and
this is the worst side I've ever watched.
I'm genuinely worried. Yeah, and it's not necessarily that all of the players are terrible, because I think the defence are mostly okay. The midfield are all right. They don't really offer much in terms of creativity, very little. But we just can't score goals, and that's you can't get around it, and you can't sort of hide from it, and you can play really, really well, but if you can't regularly put the ball in the net on a consistent basis, then you're in the doings, aren't you? So yeah.
Geoff, we could have almost
to be optimistic, but we got.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it in your voice, and I think you could have almost.
We could have recorded a word for word exactly, couldn't we?
I think we could have basically done this before the game and put it live. In fact, this was done before the game. No, it wasn't. AI is not that good, but Geoff and I could have basically said, look, we've been picked off by relatively mediocre opposition. Let's face it, they're not going for Champions League places.
No, this was what gets me really angry.
We're fourth for the favourites for going down. We were pretty much odds on. We're 13-8. Leeds, Southampton, and Bournemouth are the odds on. If we escape, if we get away with murder, it will feel like getting away with murder, and we don't deserve to stay up. And I'm just speaking truthfully. I'm not saying that that's what I want to happen. Of course, I don't. There's nothing worse. We'll get to sleepless night status soon, but we almost don't deserve to stay up with this shambolic performances. No. So many home defeats, so many lackluster. Today, Geoff,
I do as well, Eugene.
This is an isolated win. I mean, if we first of all, apologies with the banner. We had the banner the wrong way around, but it was, of course, Everton 0, Villa 2. So I don't know what to say, but you're going to be joined very soon by the guests. Jan and Ryan are coming on. Geoff, I'm going to slip out and let you go through some of the comments, and hopefully I'll see you on one of the next previews, maybe after a win at Arsenal.
So you're dropping me in it and leaving me to it. Nice one.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, right. Well, I'm gonna start replying to some of these comments then. Nice one. Well, I would say welcome everyone, but we'll. I think we all pretty much agree with what we're seeing. Is I think it's important, and I do think it's important to say that I don't necessarily blame the players, because there is effort. There is effort there. They are trying, and I don't think this is a case of where the players are letting us down. I just think it's a genuine lack of quality, because the board let us down. They let us. Now, if you look back at this result and say, well, Aston Villa aren't a great side, and they didn't have to do an awful lot to beat us because we offered very little. But that's exactly the same as what happened when we played them. We played them at Villa Park. We huffed and puffed, and we eventually got a late goal and got ourselves back into it when Onana came on for his debut. But realistically, they were a poor side, and they just scored the first goal and then got a second goal quickly afterwards, because we had no response to it, because we are a really poor side. And I mean, like this comment here from Tommy, yeah, referee's not a disgrace, but we can't really look at anywhere else other than inside the club for people to blame, because we know who's to blame. It's the people running our club. Yeah, Kev, all right, mate, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, this is exactly what you get with no recognised striker. I suppose if I can offer a criticism towards the tactics is it worth trying 4-4-2? Drop one of the midfielders, because I don't think necessarily. I don't think Idrissa Gueye's been particularly great. And at least if we played two strikers, we might get something more going forward. It's at this point. I suppose it's a case of, dude, you might as well risk it, because playing for 0-0 draws is getting us nowhere. Playing to sort of try and keep it tight and nick something is getting us nowhere. Maybe it's time to start playing with some more ambition. Go for 4-4-2. Try and get the first goal. Try and get ahead. and see what happens. Yeah, results aside, they probably played slightly better than last week. Villa have quality. Leeds fell apart. Hardly got but then Leeds get a result today. So it's like I said when I was talking earlier. You've got teams that get results inconsistently, but they get them. They pick them up. They keep picking up points. Oh, here's Dave. Bring in Dave. Hello, sir. Oh, had to stream. Hello.
How you doing, Geoff?
Hey up, Dave. All right, mate. How you doing?
Oh, you know.
Sorry about earlier.
That's all right,
problems.
Mate. We've all had our issues with technology, us old fogies.
Yeah. It's definitely not. It's definitely not our thing. It's definitely not my thing, anyway.
Oh, too many buttons for you being the next Pongo.
Yeah. I'm being a trucker as well. It's like
too many working parts.
Yeah, too many. Oh, hey, up here's Ryan. He's coming in for a rant.
All right, right.
Oh, hello, boys. Deary me, I've got a car full of people, and to be honest with you, it's one of those sorts of games you want to forget about very, very quickly. Aston Villa were the better team for about 15 minutes in the first half, and then we took control of the game. I thought 30 minutes. Onana had a header over.
Yeah.
Dwight McNeil just needs to hit it with his right foot. It's like he's chopped his right foot off at birth. He refuses to use it. And you've also got other chances. Mopé, he hits it like an under 11s women's team, up into the hands of the goalkeeper. Emi Martinez is a very good goalkeeper. Coleman was fantastic there. Not relevant right now. Hang on. So
he's kind of missing for the second goal, though.
Wasted opportunities when we were on top that we needed to take. We were fully in control. Villa then start doing the classic. I'm going to fall on the floor. I'm going to get injured. I'm going to do all the different things to break up play. Anthony Taylor, we might as well have had a traffic cone in charge of the game because he was a fucking orange useless twat in the middle of the pitch. And
he gave us nothing.
Furious.
Absolutely nothing all game.
No.
He stopped play for the slightest touch. It was like it was a non-contact sport. Anyway, we had to get that goal when we were on top in that 35-minute spell in that first half. I said to Mabsy at half-time, who was sat a couple of rows in front of me, we just keep going, we'll get the goal. We'll find the goal here. Because we were on top. Villa were scared to play. We've come out in the second half and we had a little go for 10 minutes, but they've made a substitution before us. Buendía has got the wrong side of Cody, who was thinking about his birthday cake for tonight. Caught sleeping. I wouldn't sign him. I'm going to be very bold and say I wouldn't sign him if he offered me.
Sunday League defending.
What, Cody?
Passive. He's passive. And then they've got the penalty.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign him over.
It's a clear penalty.
I'm not. I'll be honest with you, Rai. I watched it through various sources. Let's say.
Yeah,
and I actually think on one of the angles, Garner actually gets a touch on the ball before the man falls over.
Yeah.
But because it's clear and it's not clear and obvious, it's one of them where the VAR is not going to overturn it. You know what I mean? If it wasn't given, I don't think the VAR had overturned it.
No. To be fair, it's the wrong area of the pitch. You don't make a challenge in the box there. Gone to ground. For me, it looked in real time like a clear penalty. It gave him an opportunity to actually give it. It made the decision easy for him. And that's that. When you concede a goal and you're Everton and you're as toothless as us up front, you kind of just accept.
So there's a question for you, Ryan. Then
go on.
Because I was just talking when I was just on my own. Then I was kind of just stream of consciousness kind of thing. Is it time we just go 4-4-2? Because Gar hasn't been particularly great anyway, and and playing three in midfield, it makes us solid, but only up to a point. You know, we're still conceding goals, but we've got to start scoring, and it's like, at least if we play 4-4-2, there's always that thing. If you're going to lose a fight, go down swinging. You know, if you're going to lose a fight, go swing for the gate, and if you get knocked out, you get knocked out. But at least you know, if you're standing there going like this most of the time, eventually people are going to wear you down, and that's what's happened to us over and over this season. Is
I don't think
we
it
play
was...
one up front. We've got no attacking midfielders of any real creative worth. Onana offers very little, you know, creatively wise. Iwobi doesn't offer much. Why not just go 4-4-2? Just play two up top, and just whip the ball in and just try and get something. At least then, like, you know, we might have a chance of scoring some goals, because we can't be relying on a freak once every 10 years goal from someone like someone like a fullback to win games. It's just not going to work. Sorry, go on.
The thing is, Geoff. Sorry,
Dave.
The Iwobi's being pushed out on the right again.
No, you're right.
Where before Fran came in,
yeah,
he was very ineffective, and he's being pushed out on the right, obviously because we sold Gordon, and he's become ineffective again. Now we was getting the best out of him through the middle of the park, so we're not. Obviously, Dice has come in and decided, well, you know, rather than play Damari Gray, or whether he doesn't fancy him or not, I don't know. Whether he plays, you know, whether he plays Damari Gray on the right and Dwight McNeil on the left, so you can then put him up the Iwobi through the middle. But he doesn't seem to fancy Damari Gray. But the team's suffering because he's probably Iwobi. Sadly enough, is probably our most creative player on the pitch that's playing at this present moment in time, because Damari Gray's not on the pitch.
Yeah.
And we're not getting the best, we're not utilising to the best of his abilities by playing him out on the right. But ultimately, I think playing the one up front, it's obvious Mopé can't play that role, and Sims is not experienced enough to play that role at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I'd be like you, Geoff. I'd be pushing for a 4-4-2 till we get somebody up front that can play that position, i.e. Calvert-Lewin.
I don't know whether I would go with the 4-4-2. Yeah. I felt like the reason we had control of the game in this match for, say, 70% of it was because we had the extra man. We had the players in midfield tucking in, and we had the control with the three. And it wasn't the reason we lost this game was because you can talk about the referee, but ultimately we didn't take our chances when they came. We fluffed our lines, and then we got done with a mistake and a transitional goal. Villa didn't turn up for me. I didn't think Villa turned up. They didn't play football. They didn't play well. They didn't have much of the play. We were the better team for large parts of it. As I say, the thing that really wound me up more than the ref was when we conceded the penalty. We had about a go for 5 minutes, but we faded massively. And that's probably when you do go 4-4-2 and bring Sims on and help. Yeah. Because we're all over Villa. We just didn't have that cutting edge at that point. But for the rest of the game, I thought we did enough. We just didn't take the chances we created.
I think we put a lot into that first 45 minutes where the energy levels wavered the second half. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating because they were there for the taking. Villa weren't great, and the teams have started to do what they did earlier on in the season, is wait for us to make mistakes rather than create anything themselves.
Can I come in on that?
Go on.
No.
Well, Villa were battered by us for most of that first half and some of the second half, and they waited. They were told to stay in the game, waited for us to make the mistake, and we did. But there's a few good things. I mean, Dwight McNeil looks really good. I mean, he looks like he He can get the ball in the box. He can hold a player off. He worked extremely hard. He didn't deserve to be on the losing team today. But I am pissed off with someone like Mykolenko because that second goal, he sucked in. He should take the foul there. He should bring him down. Instead, he lets him run off him, and then it's a very simple transitional goal to score. But you've got to. We were fouling, but we were making stupid fouls at the wrong times. There was.
Yeah, but look at that
break
Decore one. That Decore yellow card was just absolutely ridiculous. He's trying to fend off his man and accidentally hits him in the face with his arm and gets a yellow card for it. And you're like, since when has that ever been a yellow card? It's not an elbow. It's not intentional.
Yeah.
You know, and plus the fact he was on the attack at the time.
Since I've been watching Everton.
Yeah, true.
If we go down this season, it'll be because the board, everyone has left us horribly under-equipped to compete. Every single team has got more options than us. We deserve, with the squad we've got, we deserve to get relegated.
And if we don't, it'd be by some miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's if Dice keeps us up, he deserves the freedom of the city because he'll have performed miracles. You know what I mean? The last time I seen somebody perform a miracle like that, he fed 5,000 people with a few fishes and a few loaves of bread. You know what I mean? And Geoff is probably around.
It's like he's a good manager, but he's not Jesus. So like miracles aren't what he does, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm thinking the fact that we sold players but didn't bring players in.
What's this?
I can't help but feel that our board of taking the consideration that we might go down, and he's the right manager to bring us back up because he's got history of doing that. And yeah, I mean, this whole season, I blame it on the owner more than anyone else. The owner, the board, they didn't help, and obviously Ken Wright has got us in the situation where we are. But in the end, the owner had a responsibility if we survived relegation by one game, by one goal in the 85th minute after being 2-0 down at half time. And you can't sit there and go, this isn't enough. We can't go through this again. I mean, we were all sitting there saying, we can't go through this again. We can't go through this again. And he does one of his stupid interviews and says, judge me at the end of the window. And we brought Mopay in. Mopay, after throwing away points in the first 4 or 5 games because we didn't have a striker. It's rank amateur and pathetic, and anyone. I still see people defending the board, and I just want to reach down my Twitter and just slap them because it's like, what on earth are you actually seeing? This board, this ownership. They've sold us down the river. They've sold yet another manager down the river. Yet another manager down the river by not putting in putting in place a proper plan and bringing in the players we need. We can get on Klarna, or because other clubs don't want them. We don't want players that other clubs don't want. We want to be signing players that other clubs don't want to let go. That's the whole point, is you don't sign players that can't get in their team and make yourself better. That's not how it works. You sign players that other players really don't want to leave. It shows a lack of ambition because all they care about is the money.
Yeah, but ultimately we're not an attractive proposition for teams that clubs want to keep, the players that clubs want to keep. Unless we can offer triple their wages, then, which we can't do because we're construed by FFP. We can't stop.
I don't necessarily agree with that because that Kudos, he was ready to come to us, no problems at all. He was happy to come to us. we've had deals on the table. The guy who's a striker at Liverpool now, Jota, he was someone he was keen on the move. He was supposedly an Everton fan as a kid. There's always been players that we've been able to attract, but we never went for them. We went for the cheap option, or the, you know, we've consistently bought the wrong players, and it's like the idea that Everton Football Club can't attract players. I don't buy that, because we've always been able to attract players. But if you're not willing to scout and recruit properly, and if you're going for relegated players as your sort of highlight purchases, then long term that's a bad plan, isn't it?
I just think there's like in especially in Premier League football, there's tier levels of what quality of play you can attract. When you're down at the bottom, you can only attract a lower standard of player unless you're paying mega wages. Do you know what I mean? Kudos probably, if he was going to let him go, Kudos would have been probably tipping his wages. That's why he wanted to come, and he'd probably be using us as a stepping stone to go on to bigger and better things. And
yeah, I don't mind that though. I don't mind because that's how we signed Lukaku. We signed Lukaku, and he made it clear from the get-go it was a stepping stone move. But he did great for us while we were here, and then we sold him for a fat wedge. And if you look at what Brighton are doing, they're buying players cheap. They're bringing them in from all over the world, like you've never heard of them, and they're putting them in the side, and they're turning them into a player, and then they're selling them on, and they're making money, and that's like a plan. That's a proper plan. That's what having a good director of football, a good ownership structure, and like a clear vision of what your football club is. That's how it works. And we don't have that.
I completely agree. The structure of the club from the top downwards is like just ridiculously, stupidly poor. It's like there doesn't seem to be any structure. It's that bad. Where's the what we should do? We should do what Chelsea and Tottenham do. Let other clubs scout their players for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
there is.
Yeah, I mean, no, there is. It's not to say that every single player we've ever bought has been rubbish or whatever, But Marcel Brands came in and he had a plan that what he was going to do, but the owner interfered, and we ended up signing players and managers on ridiculous wages, and we got stuck with them. So we got Carlo in, and all right, yeah, the football was all right for a while, but it was never really a wise move, and it wasn't really part of a plan. It was just like, well, the owner fancied him because, isn't it, he's Carlo Ancelotti, so it's like, oh yeah, we'll bring him in and we'll back him, but then we don't back him, and then the first decent offer that comes along, he leaves because he's too big for Everton Football Club, and Real comes along. Fair enough, you're going to leave, and I don't mind that. I'm not going to blame Carlo for wanting to leave to go to Real Madrid. My God. But, like, that's when we should have brought Sean Dyche in. Not now, when we're right in the ship. We should have brought him in when we had a sort of half-decent side, and he could have built something, or maybe, like, I don't know. It's hard not to get angry.
He was still at Burnley at the time, though, wasn't he? When we employed.
But we could have attracted him at that point. That's the whole point. Is we would have attracted him because he would have seen us as a step up. I mean, he clearly does anyway. But that would have been a good time for him to move while his career's on the up, and he comes to us. And it's like then he builds something and he moves on with his career, and you think, well, that's a sort of a more sensible appointment because he'd come in on a much lower wage than Carlo was on, and you bring a scouting structure and you build something long term, like we did in the very early days of Moyes. Is we didn't have the money, so we did good deals and we built a structure, we built all that kind of stuff, and it kind of feels like that we've gone all the way around the houses to end up with David Moyes again. In Shoreditch.
I just wonder what the owners are saying to these managers that, in these interviews, like, what are they promising them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like obviously, like Frank Lampard came in, and that, sacked him, got Dyson. Like, what are they saying to these managers? Is it like, it's like one of them with Dyson's come in, and it's like going to the supermarket and getting a smoked salmon bagel with cream cheese, opening it up and finding there's only cream cheese. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit let down, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry about the background light, mate. I'm still trying to work out my lighting situation, so sorry about that. I'll get better once we've figured it out. But yeah, it always seems like, being reactionary when we win, like, everything's sort of better, and when we lose, everything feels like slightly worse than, if you know what I mean. There's a tendency to overreact in both directions, but I just think that if you look at the overall sort of trajectory of this side over the last few years, it's not positive. It just isn't positive, is it?
I'm the same as every Blue. I'm disappointed that we got beat today, clearly.
Yeah.
But I'm not too downhearted about it, and I can't understand why. You know what I mean? Because we played well.
That's why, and I think that's exactly my point. Is that we've got the right manager now finally, but just far too late. Like, if we'd have brought him in, like, before the World, if we'd have got rid of Frank before the World Cup, and he'd have had 6 weeks to come in, do something, and then try and snaggle in a couple of players, I think we'd probably be 12th, 13th by now.
But I don't even know whether they had any intention of signing anybody in the January transfer window, Geoff. I really don't, because you had 17 players. Whether they turned them down or the club said they weren't available. Is it a case of, like, trying to blow smoke up the fans' asses, or what? You know what I mean? Trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Yeah, we're in for these players and blah, but they're not really. Because from what I've read,
this is the thing, isn't it? But, like, at least then the question would be answered unequivocally. If he had the whole transfer window and still got nobody, then but, like, the way they've done it is they've waited too long to sack Frank, and then they've not given the new manager enough time to actually do something. And that's exactly what they did, if you think about it. Last year, is they waited far too long to get rid of that Spanish waiter, and then spent like 2 weeks faffing about doing interviews all over down in London and all this stuff, and then ended up appointing the guy that, like, apparently got interviewed sort of in December for the job and wanted it, but we only got him on the last day of the window, and he only had time to bring in a couple of loans. So it's kind of like half-assed again. And then they come out with this bloody Q&A session with the fan advisory board, and they say, hot air, blow smoke,
boy,
BS and all the rest of it. And it's like they didn't actually answer any of the questions that we really wanted to know. It's like, why didn't you sign some players properly? It's horrible, isn't it?
Maybe that's all the while.
Hey Geoff, hey Dave.
Yeah. And that's why I said, are they planning to get relegated because they don't want to spend money?
Because I'm sure, he was at Finch Farm on the Saturday or something, and it took them like 3 days to actually announce them or something. And you're like, well, why is it taking that long?
Yeah.
And maybe that was their intention all the while, was to drag it out so that he would literally only have the last day of the transfer window when they knew they was never going to get anybody in. And it was baffling. Like, why would you want
exactly
for a team that you
left
know?
making excuses saying, "Oh yeah, the squad's decent, and I've kept worse teams up," and it's like, no, you haven't. We know we know you haven't, because at least Burnley had like they'd been practicing a while and they had a structure and they had strikers.
Let's be honest,
put
guys.
the ball in the back
The only
of the net.
thing
They
we're
had Chris
lacking
Wood,
at the
didn't they?
minute, the only thing we're lacking at the minute is goals. That's it. That's it. We're decent everywhere else.
Yeah.
All over the pitch, but we can't score goals.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the the blunt truth of it. If you can't score goals, you're always susceptible to conceding them.
Hey guys.
Hello, Jan.
Yeah.
Hey Dave.
Game, mate.
Sorry, did I go or?
Yeah.
Yeah, just got back. I don't know what you guys were watching it on.
Yeah. Jump in, mate. Jump in.
Sorry. What was that, Geoff?
Sorry.
Well, I don't know what you guys were watching. I don't know what you guys were watching it on, but it seemed to me that we really, really weren't getting the rub of the green. Anthony Taylor is the next candidate. I think he misses Lee Mason, and I think it's absolutely the standard of refereeing in that match was appalling. The consistency, the double standards, the fact that he was pulling faces at the players at certain times, that you could see from, maybe you saw it on TV or on when you're watching it. It's just
disgraceful. It was amateur refereeing.
Yeah,
amateur. Geoff, I know that Lecky's a bit tight these days, lad, but the chance of putting the lights on.
Yeah.
It's a bit. You're going darker and darker by the minute.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm gonna say.
I know it's dark days, but I don't even know what to say. I gave up trying to create a mental checklist.
The sun was going down, and I wasn't really noticing.
We can see your lovely face a bit more now, Geoff.
Sorry.
Yeah. The consistency of shirt pulling. It was only in the last few minutes when it didn't really matter. The number of times that I was shouting when Martinez had their keeper had the ball, and I was like 12, 13, 14. The number of seconds, and that was after he stood up, after he'd rolled around on the ground a little bit. And okay, so you give a yellow card, but it's irrelevant, because eventually unless you do it the first time or the second time or the third time, that it's ridiculous. You're not going to do it again. He's just going to say, "Oh, come on." And the number of times that they were jumping in the end, Tarkowski had a very good game in terms of competing with it, by deciding to jump in and lead with his head and go, "Nah, I'm not going to be pushed off the ball." And their number 41, I've got the program here. It's irrelevant. It was towards the end, and 31. Tom Davies, when he came on, actually decided, "No, I'm going to stand my ground and push you off." But the number of times, I mean, Decore got a yellow card, or was it, or for being on the ball and running, and then the other guy going down and holding. Oh, just
yeah. No, I mean,
I know, but this is the thing is, I've never watched an Everton game where I've come at the end of the game and thought, "Oh, that ref was really good," and we got like the rub of the green. I've never literally watched an Everton game where I've thought, "Oh, we were well refereed there." We've always got screwed over by referees, but that's not an excuse. It's something we can gripe about, and yeah, it's unfair, and we so often get screwed over by referees. We've seen it year on year on year, but that's not my takeaway. Way that the referee was a shitbag, because the referees are always shitbags to Everton. That like, you have to win in spite of them. Like, I accept the fact that they're the problem. It's up to us to win games. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
I'm still on the anti-ball kind of hate podcast.
I'm not going to complain about them time wasting. I'll be honest with you, because we've done it. You know what I mean? We did it against Arsenal. We did it with Jesse Marcus running up and down the pitch last season at Leeds. So I'm not going to complain about the time wasting. Every team does it. But
yeah, I mean, with 65 bounces of the ball, you can't. You know, it's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, but the referee, like you said, Jan, the referee should have clamped down on it straight away, and then maybe that wouldn't have continued on throughout the game.
Because he's happy to give a yellow card in the first or second minute to Onana, then why is he not happy to deal with that straight away? Yeah, sorry, I was agreeing with you in that.
No, it's right that they say they started time wasting right from the off. You know what I mean? And if he just turn around, if he just give a yellow card, then that sets a precedent then for the rest of the game. You're not going to get away with it. But they very rarely do. They wait till they get to like 10 minutes before the end of the game, and then start dishing out yellow cards for time wasting. But like I say, I'm not going to complain about it. Once again, that's on the ref, not on the Villa team.
Yeah. Jeterix is just. Yeah. On that note, do you remember our pregnant man hiding the ball against Palace?
Go on.
Yeah.
I have got to say, by the way, I mean, normally, knowing what I'm like, by the way, I just want to mention an aside.
Sorry.
I'm quite loud. Oh, there we go. Ryan's on it. I'm quite loud. I come out with quite sort of witty things. I was saying, hey, Taylor, you know, do you miss your mate Lee Mason that much? Has he got you a job when you leave? And hey, Lino, isn't it shit when your boss is useless and all this kind of stuff? Anyway, just, you know, random shouts that come out. And you can see people having a laugh and the shake of the shoulders. 5 minutes before the end, this 20-year-old scrot and his dad are leaving, and he turns around and says, "You're always fucking shouting and miserable." It's like, I'm never shouting at the team. It's always the fucking referees. If I do. So, you got to fucking shut up, otherwise, you know. And I sat there because I'm not going to condone anything. But in the end, like, Jazz was next to me and she got up and said, well, what do you expect? It's not a fucking library.
Not unless you're over the park.
I just... A 20-year-old
Jazz is so funny because, like, I've been to match with her a couple of times, and she does not hold back at all. And like, there's people looking around at her, and she's calling people all kinds and screaming her head off. And yeah, people are looking at her as if to say, like, "What are you shouting at?" Screams at other fans. It's like, it's a fucking fun game. You put it down and
do right. That's what you want to see, though.
It's so funny.
See a bit of passion. You know, it's like the players might not care, but we fans do.
I'm still there. Sorry.
That team is our life. You know what I mean? That's what we live for on every other Saturday. And if they don't care, we're still allowed to show that we do care in the stands. You know what I mean? So when people are having to go with other people, because they're showing their emotions, then they're the ones who are having to go with people who are cheering on the team or slagging the ref off. That's their problem, not the problem of people that are giving it loads to the ref.
I'm still shouting it. I'm still going, "Come on, Blues, keep going, keep pushing this, that." And I'm not criticizing any of the players at all. I'm getting caught up in the game, but for crying out loud, if the ref is making howling mistakes, I don't know. But what someone just said there, how is Nathan Patterson playing? But when Jeterix has just said Patterson's still coming back from his injury.
Go on.
Did you guys talk about? I think Coleman had a wonderful game.
I'm 50-50. He was missing for the second goal. He got far too far up the pitch, and Cody got turned like he was a Sunday League player. And Coleman should have been back there. So I think for the most part.
Yeah, and I've seen like we're looking to make it his move permanent, and it bothers me.
Well, I think
Sorry, I can't
Kevin.
hear
I don't know whether Kevin's wants me to get off the channel, go and do my doctorate, go away and do something with your life.
Why?
Well, ultimately, this is down to the flagrant spending from the owner initially, thinking that we were going to fast track success by paying large amounts of money for mediocre players.
And then we broke the bank with things like James Rodriguez, and,
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of money on he who shall not be named. That was a huge loss in terms of investment. And let's not.
Well, just another shit weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not very often that we've watched Everton in the last 18 months and gone, we were by far the better team, but we didn't get anything from the game. I mean, we could say, we played better or we should have had points there, but we were the better team there.
Yeah.
And I think that we deserved a lot more.
The stats don't lie. Stats don't lie, yeah.
I haven't seen the stats.
Except for possession, which they shaded. We had, more shots on goal, more shots on target than them. But
Dave, my issue with possession is, do you know how it's measured these days?
Oh, it's stupid things like, you could
it's literally the way a lot of them do it, the metrics now. It's not based on time on possession. It's not aggregated with a weighting of possession and passes. It's just purely done on the number of passes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So you could have runs and hold the ball and stand and pass slowly as you move forward, and that kind of thing. But then it's nothing if they're playing just tip tap back forward.
We probably had 90% possession under Frank then. That's all we used to do was pass it backwards and sideways.
Yeah, it's.
But that's the plus side of things with Dice coming in. There's more forward momentum.
Go on.
Rather than backwards and sideways momentum.
Let me just. Blues has just said something, so I'll have a look here and see if I can show you something.
Geoff, are you on the delay there? Where are you?
Me?
Geoff.
Mate, I'm getting me broadband's getting upgraded on Monday because it's I'm getting a new router, a new upgrade on Monday. So yeah, me internet is a bit poor.
We thought you was in Australia.
This is well known. Mate, I've been having technical dramas for the last couple of weeks, to be honest. I've had to literally a new microphone. Oh, the speakers don't work, so I've got to get new headphones, new camera. Oh, yeah, some lighting because my light's shit because it's and now it's like gubbins on my laptop and now my internet sucks. So my fucking internet as well. So yeah. I am bleeding for the cause. That's what I am, mate.
Don't get too downhearted, Geoff. That's the best.
Mate, I dropped my phone. Right? I was literally driving up to Scotland last night. I stopped off to grab something to eat, and I went to get back in my cab. And as I climbed up, my fucking phone come out and went slam, and it's just like. So then I've had to get up. I only got in about got to bed about 7 this morning to go into Everton to get my phone fixed. Then last speakers didn't work when I tried the stream, so I had to go and buy some new headphones. And then I get to watch Everton play, and it's just like F my life.
You've definitely upset someone in this life, Geoff.
Yeah, I think I was basically, I think I might have been Hitler, like in a previous life, and I think I'm paying for it. Something like Khan, maybe, or
I suppose, you know, it started off being in the army, didn't it? All your bad luck went downhill from there.
yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much.
I'm ex-Navy myself, Geoff.
Whether I'm time delayed again now. Oh, are
I'm
you?
trying to get some stats up here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What were you in?
What, mate?
What were you?
I was a gunner.
What were you?
I was a gunner.
All right. What?
Not much call for that in City
Destroyer,
Street,
frigate, cruiser.
Sorry, mate.
I don't know. I think of a few. I can think of a few people I could quite happily gun down at the minute. To be honest. Oh.
Right, hang on.
Sorry,
I'm figuring something out.
Right, I'm going to scooch because my internet sucks, so I'm going to lose it.
Oh, right, okay. I was just doing some quick maths here to figure out.
So, yeah, no, thanks everyone.
See you later, Geoff.
What?
Are we going?
No, I'm staying on.
Right, 350. Right, I'm just going to do something here.
No, you can carry on for a bit. I'm going to scoot anyway. Like I said, I'm getting my new internet on Monday, and hopefully things will be much improved from this. So we shall see. Nice one. Cheers. Thanks, Dave.
Mate.
Have a nice evening, mate.
And you, mate.
Get yourself outside of a few, and I'll catch you later. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I've just done
Cheers.
I've just done a bit of maths here. I don't know if you go. Oh, right, hi Dave. I've just done a bit of maths where I added up the stats and the passes for Everton and Aston Villa, and yeah, the number of passes completed from a football stats website in that Everton Aston Villa game was something like 360 versus 410, and it works out very close to the actual possession stats. So I don't know whether they count keepers' passes or certain things like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, ultimately, stats can be sort of
deceptive.
Yeah, you know, you can have 99% possession and win a game 1-0. It's like all this, like Sky loves to put. Yeah, Sky love the stats. Sky absolutely love the stats that absolutely mean nothing whatsoever.
No. Sky loves stats from 1992 onwards, and as long as the matches are broadcast on Sky.
Yeah, it's like touches in the opposition box. Like, why is that an actual stat? Like, you could have no touches in the opposition box and score a 25-yard screamer. Yeah. You know what I mean? It means absolutely nothing.
As Ollie Watkins nearly did about 15 minutes or so from the end of the game.
Mm.
I think it was Ollie Watkins.
I think I'd walked out, finished watching by then. Once it went to 2-0, I was like, I'm going to make the tea.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But ultimately, I think, you know, once the real sadness about it all, Jan, is the fact that even when we're going like 1-0 down, you struggle to see us getting back into that, getting a goal back.
There was, I think, from today's match, I don't know what you thought from watching it on TV, is that we did look like more likely to score than we have done in previous games. Like, even with Mopé and not DCL, you know, regardless of who was up front, there was more balls going in. There was more direct attacking and incision into the box and play forward. So that's, for me, I had hope after that. That's
what I was about to say before when he was going on about the passing stats and stuff.
Sorry.
We might have had less possession wise, but our passing was more forward than theirs was. If you get that, it was more direct.
Yeah,
you understand what I mean?
Yeah, for a period, and then I think it's understandable that the heads go down. You know, and we didn't. Once that second goal goes in and we're not looking like on top and going to get an equaliser, then you kind of know. I mean, Evertonians know Everton at the moment. I think it goes without saying. It's all this unspoken stuff. When that second goal goes in, you just go, right, that's it.
Yeah. But, all right, Ray.
Hello. Just to let you know, when you finish, just to let our viewers know, I'm doing a stream, player ratings, a full in-depth analysis of the games as soon as this finishes. So I'm going to do that after you guys. So if anyone wants to join straight after this in 2 minutes, not necessarily you two, I'm sure you've had enough, but the viewers, just I'll post the link here in a minute. Okay.
Ryan,
I've got a lot to say.
Is Jasmine back home?
Yeah.
Did she tell you about that?
She said you got in a fight with someone.
No, I sat perfectly calmly and didn't say anything because I was just going to let him get himself into a fight.
Some utter
yeah,
apparently. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's ask the viewers if we can for a second, Dave, if you don't mind, and you can wade in on this. Basically, as I said before, I was. You know, I wasn't constantly up, but when a bad decision's made, I shout, and I shout loud. I have a loud voice. And at the end, this guy's leaving a couple of minutes before 90 minutes. And well, I say guy, he's like a 20-year-old kid. You look at him, but then he's got the look of someone who's, you know, probably done the beat too much at the weekend. So I don't know if he's got. I'm really not the right type. I'm not the type to start to run around and starting fights. Jetrick says, but I tell you what, if someone's going to get me in one, I'll finish it. I just, what's the reckoning? If he gets up about this far away from me, a couple, like 2 feet, as I'm sat down, and he's walking down the aisle, and he's like, "You want to fucking shut your mouth? You're always fucking shouting." Jan. Yeah.
Thing is, the atmosphere today was shit, and it was like a library for most of the game. And there's nothing you can do to build the atmosphere up. It was shit. And anyone who raises their voice, someone turns around and goes, "What are you doing? Why are you speaking?" It's a football game. We get involved. It's passionate. You're allowed to be vocal.
I know what I think it is. I think obviously I wasn't at the game, but I think it's going the opposite way with the fans now. Is people are getting on people's backs, thinking that the atmosphere is going to turn toxic because they're having to go with the players. But there was nothing to have a go with the players today for. You could see they all played pretty decently. Do you know what I mean? It was
down to anxiety. The whole thing comes down to anxiety. You know, the fans are anxious. You know, before the game, it's flat as a pancake.
With Ryan, I do want to say we've had a couple of people this stream asking where is Dan, and that where cheerful Dan is. And I think it's just polite to mention that Dan decided to part ways with Follow Everton and form his own channel, and we just hope he's happy and wish him the best, and that's it. He doesn't want to be involved with the channel anymore, and that's that. I mean, yeah, we could say things and stir things up, and it's just I don't personally see the point in that. Wish him all the best.
Yeah, I don't want to keep talking about Dan, to be honest. I'd rather talk more about the lovely Amy that we've brought in, and obviously she's added a dimension to the show. Unfortunately, we couldn't get her on today, but we will.
3-0, by the way.
City are winning 3-0.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't expect anything other than that against a top class Man City team. But Bournemouth are not that bad. I watched them last week. They're not that bad. They've got something about them. There's too many teams that are too good to go down. I am setting up my thing now, so I'm going to join you for the last 5 minutes of this, and then
Has anybody else got this niggly thing in the back of their head, right? That
it's a ponytail. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Apart from that this is going to go down to the Bournemouth game, last game of the season.
Yeah.
And they'll already be relegated, in my opinion.
Mr. Boss Ryan, man, what's your rule on smoking on the channel?
Do what you want. And swearing is fine. Listen, this is...
What about vaping?
It's fine.
Oh, vaping's fine. Ordinarily, I would vape, but I've just had a bit of a bad time.
He nearly got that off, nearly had a straightener.
What actually happened?
Oh, no, I nearly gave a straightener. Someone was just up in my face, and he was only 20, and I was like, I just sat there and just stared at him because... And then his dad was like, all right, I'll have a talk with him, because I think his dad knew, because Jazz said, it's not a library, it's a football match. What do you expect? And I was this close to just getting up and...
Oh, you don't want to mess with Jazz. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because he started shouting at her as well. And I'm like, I can sit there and take it as much as I want, you know, until somebody crosses a line or I feel like I'm genuinely in physical danger. And then I'll, you know, if you do that, then somebody asks for that. But if someone's going to talk to my cousin like that, a 20-year-old lad who looks like he's got a Charlie hangover. Nah.
I know plenty of them. That fell out in the back of my car.
But you know what I mean? I mean, I could always contact the club and they'll look on the cameras and give them a talking to. But it seems a bit pointless, doesn't it? It's just
a heat of the moment thing. Ultimately, when it boils down to it, right? Ultimately, we all just want Everton to do well.
Right.
It's like a disco. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're just about to have a rave. Oof, Jesus Christ.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It is a mental drain to go to football and go and watch Everton this season. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a very positive. I wasn't that positive going into this game. When we did the preview, we talked about Aston Villa and how they're quite good on transition and they've got some decent footballers. In my opinion, Villa didn't turn up the match and they were there for the taking. And it was just a couple of... Jan, have you not got any lights that actually work on your front face? It's like
have you got a back face?
It's like you sat in darkness.
Jan, have you got a back face?
No. What do you mean? Ryan, you look like you're fading away, like you've got a bloody...
Yeah, I mean, Aston Villa were absolutely there for the taking. And there's so much I want to talk about in this game, but I know the stream's gone on for 1 hour, 20 minutes. I want to put another stream up in the algorithm. You're welcome to come on if you can be asked talking about it, but there's so many things from the poor finishing and the refereeing and the tactical elements.
Damari Gray not having a shot and just poking it some way between a cross and a shot. Decore not having a shot. Idrissa Gana-Gueye getting caught up with the ball in his feet multiple times. Onana, you know, all the link-up play and getting in the ball and then it coming out and it breaking to a Villa player every time. It's just...
Listen, you dealt the hand we're given, but we've bought these players and I look at them and I thought our best player is I've fixed it. The Blues have fixed it. Dwight McNeil's our best player by a country mile, and he's got no one to aim the ball into.
Because he's the only one who seems to be capable of running a country mile.
Slow to react to his balls into the box. You know, he's putting them on a plate for you, and you are literally like not gambling. You are not making the effort to get on the end of the crosses, and he's trying to do everything. He's trying to do everything for himself. We're asking far too much of him, but at the same time, I'm also furious with him that he refuses to use his right foot. He refuses. Last week against Leeds, there was a massive opportunity where it comes across, first time, right foot, just hit it. Instead, he takes a touch, plays it inside to Decore or Onana, and this sloppy and slow. And then this week, it was another opportunity where he just has to hit it first time. I like your 2012 at top. Hit it first time, left on your right foot. Why are you so scared to use it? You've got
Just
a
for
foot
standing
there.
Just for standing on, innit? You know what I mean? But it's better. He's producing more than what he ever did before under Lampard. Like he wasn't even getting crosses into the box under Lampard. He wasn't even getting the game under Lampard. You know what I mean? So now he's actually getting crosses into the box. We just need somebody to be in there and put their head on it. Onana did, and Martinez pulled off a great save.
He's a good goalkeeper, but you've got to take those chances. I mean, yeah, you could say the angle of which he's had to jump up to get the traction on it to actually beat the man means it's hard for him to head it down. But it was the fact that it was straight in the line of the goalkeeper.
And that's the story of our season, though, right? Is we're not converting the chances we're getting.
This is the equivalent of what we have up front. An absolute duck. He runs around like a headless chicken. Yes, he's decent in the press, but that chance, he hits it, at the height the keeper can just catch it so comfortably. That Neil Maupay chance. How many more opportunities are we going to give this guy? He's clearly not good enough. Who's Catnip? Someone's talking.
Catnip is a red who's come on here and just had a bit of back and forth and banter, and I don't know.
Has he done anything to be blocked? Then I don't know.
Not really.
I've got so much to say. I'm going to do a separate player ratings videos. I'm going to do a separate player ratings video shortly. If anyone wants to join, it'll be on the show. But
can I excuse myself and explain my absence and just give in absentia my ratings 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
That's a bit harsh. I would have given at least one.
David, despite the shocking performance, no, it wasn't a shocking performance. I know you were on the pre-match stream. We had technical difficulties with Geoff. Geoff is, I apologize, guys. He's getting his internet. He's getting a new fiber line putting in this week. Hallelujah. So you might actually want to see his face clearly. Geoff, we did an internet speed test the other day. His speed test was like 400 kilobytes per second upload. It was like prehistoric.
Was it going?
He's terrible, and he's the type of person. He's quite passive, so he's put it off. He'd never change his contract, and we found out that was why, despite having a very expensive mic and a camera, we couldn't get the best footage. But we're working on that, and he's finally got some headphones. So you heard him clearly today, I believe, when he came on before. But Dave, I believe you were very good. Amy said that you were lovely on the pre-match chat. So there'll be other times where you'll be invited on. It's just whether you want to come and talk about the game before the match. How are you feeling before kickoff and stuff?
I'll always come on and talk about the Blues, whether that be in a positive manner or a negative manner. I've always got an opinion and always got something to say. I'm not quite as downbeat about Everton as Geoff. You know what I mean? But I also...
Geoff's had a bad day, in fairness. He's had a lot of things going on, hasn't he?
But I'm also a realist as well. You know what I mean? I know we're not a great team, but I think we are good enough to get out of this.
Jan, do you want to explain your absence then, if that's what you wanted to? Stop bragging about your internet.
Oh, yeah.
You still need more lights, though. Look, I'm in Blackpool Illuminations right now. Look how clear my face is.
What am I like?
Listen,
Dave, you're fine.
You're okay. You're clear. Your signal is great. If you had a light on your face, you'd be brilliant. You're nearly there.
Can we just leave it to the viewers, the ones that are actually viewing us? Because I realised at times you see your own camera through the stream because it loads it as a you know what? I can't be asked explaining it. The techie side of it. It's pointless.
Liverpool fans are coming on to try and troll, but your team, you just crumbled a 2-0. You were leading 2-0 in the Champions League, the only competition you can win. The amount of money you've spent, the players you've got, the only competition you win, you were losing 5-2. Just shut up. Go on. I
don't even get them. I'm glad I don't get them.
Chris says he likes your lighting. Okay, maybe.
Right,
I'm actually going to block. I'm going to block a few. Go on. Explain your absence.
Mine. Honestly, I've just had enough of Everton for today.
You're all Everton out.
I am. No, I've got work to do. I've got to walk the dog.
Okay.
I mean, I will be back. Like, I've come back again because I've come back more onto the videos because I do want to do that. But I just need a bit more time to get stuff in order this week.
Appreciate that.
And then I will be. Yeah.
Did you meet Chris?
Chris? Yes. I met a very interesting chap. Yes, I did. I met an American fella called Chris. Very interesting guy. Who I don't want to disclose too much things here. I met him. He seems like a really interesting fella. He comes over to 3, 4, 5 games in a sort of 4-week window every year. He normally, he tries to make it over to the derby. But other than that, he's over in America, in Houston, I believe. But yeah, he's sorry,
Houston. We have a problem.
Yes,
at the Blues.
we do have a problem. Yeah. But yeah, on that note, it's always good to see you, Dave.
And you, Jan.
And you, Charlie, walking across the screen.
I've got to say, by the way, I don't know if, like, I know some people might have got onto my poetry, but the one I did recently a couple of days ago was trying to call for fans' unity. So people saying that I'm miserable. Oh, is this about my dad called Daniel, or Dan leaving the stream?
Fuck about Dan.
But yeah, because my dad was also called Daniel. He was Uncle Daniel to Ryan and Jasmine. But yeah, I don't know. Here's the one that I did. That I'll just sort of leave it on that and be back on in a few days, if that's all right.
Okay.
With all I've lost so recently, I'm lacking so much heart. Oh, by the way, this was just a call for unity with all the fan groups, so a nod to quite a few of them. With all I've lost so recently, I'm lacking so much heart, but soldier on regardless. It's what sets the Blues apart. You've rallied round with hope and love and sent me your support and proven that with all you do, we are what I've been taught. We're hopeful when all hope is lost. We turn into the storm. Head on, we face the challenge. That's how bravery is born. It takes a village, so they say. If so, we've built a town. And endlessly we're punching up, never punching down. We're stalwart when the tides of change come crashing on our shore. Though tenebrous the omens, we barricade the door. We keep the faith so fiercely, one for all and all for one. And answer arm in arm to the call that's Everton. There's been Toffee Webb, Blue Kipper, 606 and grand old team. We're Everton, aren't we, if you know your history? You know what I mean? We've all had a view from the Bullens and can all walk a mile in their shoes, crammed in the blue room as one people's group, the originals, all Toffee Blues. With County Road bobbler hats perched on our heads, a big Blue Boys network, and how all stand united, eager for change, marching behind NS now. Let's not forget there's Toffee TV with poor Ped stuck behind his desk, and love him or hate him, he'll always wade in, the one and only, the Esk. So many big Blues left to mention, Dol Mick and Charles Stevenson, and even the team on the stream I call home. Follow Everton. We all stand together for Everton, singing songs our forefathers sang. Though our glories have passed on to legacy, we are the Goodison gang. Artists and artisans, poets and fools, being a Toffee is sometimes hard work. We've all got a touch of the madness. The Evertonians have gone berserk. Back the team on Saturday. We owe Villa a fight in that game. We found our resolve and resilience. Some things can't stay the same. The hurt of our past leaves a hole in the heart. That much is clear to see. We look to the future at Everton. That's the place that means heaven to me.
Very good.
I heard that before on Twitter. It was very good. I was impressed.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. You've always got nice things to say about me. I don't know what you want, but I'm pretty sure I can't give it.
Well, on that bombshell, thank you so much, Jan, for your wonderful poetry. That's the second or third time I heard it. It's very, very impressive. Sorry. Dave, thank you so much for supporting us today. I know you've been watching pretty much every stream since the channel's inception, and we'll invite you on again. Just let everyone know, Amy has now joined the channel officially. So She's going to be a big part of it. She's got the camera, she's got the mic, she's got the setup, everything's in order. So we'll get that, and we'll get to the bottom of the technical difficulties for our little pre-match show.
We are still doing the application process because Amy is someone that we'd had in mind for a while, but she was just busy with university. So please don't think that anyone who might be interested wants to submit an application or video or anything like that.
Amy was coming regardless. I knew her personally before or this anyway. But yeah, we're looking. We want someone very dynamic, very confident to come on and host the streams and help out everyone. So, can I ask everyone now? What I'm going to do. I'm posting a link here in the comments, if that's okay. Amy passed their trials. It was never really like that, but very funny. I'm doing a player ratings video in a few minutes' time. I'm going to get Mabsy on, I think. I'm posting a link there in the comments. Come and join me. I'm going to go through this game in depth. I'm going to pick it to shreds. I'm going to rip it to shreds, I should say. And I'm going to give you my player ratings. Dave, you've done brilliant today. Would you like to sign off on the show for us?
Yeah, I just think that ultimately we shouldn't get too downhearted. We're still in the fight. We could be out the fight by now, but we're still in the fight. Onwards and upwards to Arsenal, and if we can draw against City, away to City, we can get us something against Arsenal. Come on, you blue boys.
Yeah,
thank you.
Lovely as always, Dave.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later, boys.
See you.